Hi everyone, I'm so excited to have you here in my new free program, Freelance Now, to teach you how to start freelancing in 7 days. And for those of you that don't know me, my name's Steph. I'm going to be your teacher for all of this. I've been freelancing on Upwork for about 6 years, freelancing in general for about 6 years. I started on Upwork basically since they started, and that's pretty much been the foundation for most of my design career and for a lot of my other entrepreneurial projects and work as well. So I'm really excited to be teaching you guys about how to use Upwork and how to get started quickly. Like I mentioned, that's what this course is for, and that's what I want to share with you guys is just how you can get started quickly. So there's a lot of other courses and programs out there that teach you, how to scale or how to freelance in general. This is going to be specifically how to show you how to quickly get set up so you can find work ASAP, and specifically using Upwork. So like I mentioned, that's how I got my start. It's one of the biggest freelance online job platforms, especially if you're from the West. It's really popular. It does have a mixed rapport. Some people don't like it, but I've had so much success on there, and I think there's a lot of ways to use the platform well and to your advantage, especially if you're just starting out. So that's, like I said, that's what I did, is that's how I used it to start my business. So I have, experience from the very beginning of things you should and shouldn't do when you're getting started on Upwork, as well as how to scale your business over time using Upwork and also, outside of Upwork. Before we really get started though, I wanted to share with you guys that I did create a Facebook group, so you can hop in here and ask questions. If you have questions about the content throughout this, or if you have other questions about Upwork as you're getting started, you can also use it to connect with fellow freelancers, small businesses, entrepreneurs. There's a lot of different people in there. So go ahead and hop in there now. It's a great time to join before we really get started. Okay, so without further ado, day 1, we're going to be talking about what to freelance in and your mindset overall. Like I said, we're going to be talking about what to freelance in. So there's 2 ways to get started, really. You can get started with what you know, whether that's a digital skill you already know or something that can kind of be converted into a digital skill, or you can learn a specific digital skill. So I'm going to start by talking about the first one. So using what you know. So this is great, like I said, if you already have digital skills that you want to freelance in, whether that's design, graphic design, writing, development, anything like that. There's also a lot more, that you can freelance in online as well, not just what people typically think of, like those things. That's a great place to start if you already know basics or fundamentals in something like that. So if you do have a skill that you can already start to freelance in, I would recommend going through Upwork to make a list of categories that you can that you think you can work within, and just then browse the job posts within there. Make a list of maybe 5 to 10 different types of jobs that appeal to you, just to get a rough idea of what's out there. The second option here is, maybe you've never really worked online. Maybe you don't have a digital skill already in your wheelhouse. And so you can think about things that you're good at in general. Think about jobs you've had in the past. Maybe it was customer service at a restaurant. Maybe you're a waiter. Maybe you worked at a hotel. Just think about the types of things that you've already done and think about what that work involves, and just make a list of those things. Customer service is a great example. So like if you've worked in retail or restaurant industry or anything like that, and you work with customers frequently, that transitions really easily to online customer service, where you answer support emails or phone calls or live chat or something like that. Really simple and straightforward. There's not a lot you have to learn there, other than maybe some software, which a lot of people will just walk you through as you get onboarded to work with a client. For that, I would just recommend, again, make a list of things that you have done in the past that you think you're good at, and then maybe start brainstorming how that could be translated into an online digital skill. And then again, from there, I definitely recommend going through Upwork's job categories just to see the variety of things that are available. There's a lot of things that you maybe wouldn't expect that are available, and then you can make a list of 5 to 10 types of jobs that appeal to you. Okay, and then the second one is if you're not sure if you know anything that you can really freelance in. So maybe you don't have any skills that are really easy to translate into online work, or maybe you do, but you're just not that interested in doing it. The second option is learn a new digital skill. So this would be something like graphic design, development, social media management, whatever it is that you want to learn. Maybe you've been wanting to start your own online business for a while. Maybe you've wanted to freelance or pick up a new skill for a while. This is a great opportunity. The thing I would recommend here, which is what I did and what I definitely recommend to everybody is before you finish learning everything, start trying to freelance. Especially if one of your goals is to make money quickly, which is, part of the purpose of this specific course is to teach you how to, make money quickly. Get started once you know the fundamentals. So you don't need to learn everything. You don't need to know everything about that specific skill. Just learn a few basics. When I started learning graphic design, this is actually where I got the idea. I was in the middle of a course teaching me how to do web design and graphic design. And about a third of the way through, they shared this PDF with all of the students saying, here's examples of jobs that you can get with what you already learned. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can already start making money. What? That's amazing. So just be encouraged and know that you can start making money and start freelancing once you know a few things. You don't have to master everything. And part of why freelancing is great is because there's so many people out there that need so many different things. And just by knowing the basics of something, you're already a step ahead of your clients. They need you to do a certain thing that they can't do or don't want to learn how to do. So if you can do it, even at a basic level, then you can provide value to them. The action step here would be, find a free course or program that teaches you the fundamentals of the skills you want to learn and then just get started. So your runway is going to be a little bit longer if you choose this option. You probably won't, be able to pick up a new skill in a day and then start freelancing within a week. You might have, a couple weeks longer of a timeline to really get started so you can really understand the fundamentals of whatever skill you're trying to learn. But just know that, once you get past this initial part of, figuring out what you want to freelance in and what your focus is, then the rest of the steps are pretty straightforward and you'll be able to start freelancing quickly. All right, so how do you know if you're ready to start applying to jobs? This is what I was just talking about. If you can provide a service of some sort, even at a basic level, then you're good to go. You really don't need to be an expert to get started, especially with platforms like Upwork. It's a great place to kind of learn as you go and build up on your skill set by taking on projects that are just slightly outside of your comfort zone. You can challenge yourself to learn throughout projects, and I did this, for instance, and I often wouldn't charge clients, if I had to learn 2 hours of something. And then once I was able to do that, then, I would start charging again. But that's just an example of a way that you could do it. And you can sort of get paid to learn and get paid to build up your skill set over time. As long as you know something and ultimately can provide value to your clients, then you're good. All right, and then as far as mindset goes, I actually took this out of my main Upwork course, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. Freelancing and entrepreneurship in general, there's lots of different mindsets that you can take and tips I think that can help as you're venturing into this. If you're new to online business or business in general, I think there are a lot of mindset shifts that people often have to make to be able to start working for themselves and to be successful. So these are just a few that I've found useful for me over the years and also for my students. So one is that you're in control and go at your own pace. I see a lot of people that are like, oh, I have to hustle, I have to go super fast, and then they get burnt out. So just know you're in complete control. If you have time and bandwidth and energy to dive in and just get it all done and put yourself out there and apply to a tons of jobs, then go for it. But if you don't, then you can totally go at your own pace, take things slower, do what you need to do. On the flip side, though, you will have to work hard. Freelancing in general, whether you're trying to build your brand and market yourself and put yourself out there, it takes a lot of time and it takes effort to do that. And then with Upwork, you don't have to put in time to market yourself in the same way, but you do have to put in time to apply to projects, to get work. So that especially is sort of the bottleneck I find for a lot of people. They'll set up profiles and everything looks amazing and their proposals are great, but then they just don't apply to projects because it takes time to go through and filter through, find ones you like, and then to actually sit down and write a good proposal. It takes time, but that's what's going to get you work. And it does work over time. And I'm going to teach you a few things that make that easier as well and a little bit more streamlined so you're not spending hours and hours and hours just applying to a couple jobs. You want to make sure you can apply to jobs quickly, but also apply to jobs well. So yeah, you will have to work hard if you're going to really be successful with this. Push past your fears and doubts. So I wanted to highlight this because I think a lot of people, especially if you're a beginner and especially if you're not used to owning your own business, or if you're new to business or entrepreneurship or freelancing or anything like that, or even to your skill set, you're probably going to have these fears or doubts in your mind, like, am I good enough actually to start working yet? Like, can I actually provide value to people? And like I mentioned earlier, if you learn the fundamentals of something and can do a good job at what you're doing and that is how you provide value to people, because you're going to be able to provide a service that they otherwise wouldn't be able to do. I actually remember when I first started 6 years ago, when I got some of my first projects, I was like, I can actually call myself a designer now. And that felt so freeing to be like, wow, like I've provided design work, and so now I am a designer, and like I feel confident in that. So sometimes it does take time, but just know that you'll get there, and that you when you push past that and get yourself to do it anyway, you will get there. Yeah. And then last one here is under promise and over deliver, especially as a beginner. So this is more of like a work tip when you start working with clients, but in general, something to think about. So when you're working with clients, it's good to give them slightly longer timelines, or, if you're unsure how long it's going to take you, or if you can actually do something, make sure to not overpromise, because that's how you won't provide as much value to people, because it's more likely that you'll disappoint them, or, just not be able to keep your word. Maybe not disappoint that's maybe not the best word, but you won't be able to keep your word if you're over promising. So make sure to gauge that well, and this comes with time. But then the flip side of that is try to over deliver, and this is kind of what I was talking about too, with if you're a beginner and just learning a skill set, doing your best to go above and beyond on that project. Maybe it's including an extra feature or writing a slightly longer article. That can really help when you're a beginner to get good reviews, to build your rapport, to get more experience as well, and just have a great experience for your clients. So that is tried and true, a great thing to do, under promise and over deliver. So yeah, that is all of it for day one. Hopefully that's not too much for you guys to go work on. So to take action on this, make sure, first of all, that you're signed up for Upwork, because that's what we're going to be using. Go through Upwork, make a list of job categories that you can already work within, find that free course or program that teaches you the new skill that you want to pick up, and then lastly, go through Upwork and start making a list of 5 to 10 types of jobs that appeal to you. And then also, if you already have an idea of what you want to work in, start saving some projects, because over the next day or two, I'm going to teach you how to apply to projects. If you're confident about moving forward, you can go ahead and start applying to things as well, but I'm going to teach you more tips on that in the coming days. So yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned tomorrow for video number 2.